Hello, everyone. This is Tracy Fenton, founder of World Blue. I know we're going to have people joining us as we get going here today, and I'm so delighted to have you with me live. And for those of you listening to the replay, thanks so much for spending time with us. For those of you who don't know me, I'm so excited to meet you. Welcome to World Blue. And for those of you who know World Blue and have been in our orbit for many years, thank you so much for being with us live or listening to the replay. I am so excited to talk with you today about a very hot topic, and I'm going to share my screen with you here, which is how do we lead in this AI-driven world that we are now living in? And I wanted to do this talk because it's also the exact thing that I'm thinking about as a founder and CEO of a company. How does this work? How is this going to impact those of us who are in the leadership or culture or talent space? How does this impact our work? How does this impact the way that we do things? And so I'm so excited to talk with you about this topic. I'm not here to say, here's the latest AI technology. All we have to do is go on ChatGPT or Grok or Perplexity or Claude and ask that question. And it's going to spill out all of this, all of these fabulous websites, right, that can help us with our abilities to be, I think, better facilitators or better leaders. But what is it that we as humans still have to know how to do? And what is it that AI can do? And that's what we're going to be getting into with this talk. So I'm going to talk for probably 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes, and then open it up for Q&A. So let's get into it. So very briefly, for those of you who know or don't know World Blue, I founded World Blue 28 years ago, and we are a global leadership training company. And we help build freedom-centered rather than fear-based companies and cultures. So we've been doing that for the past 28 years, almost 30 years now. And we've worked with leaders in over 100 countries. And so again, as I mentioned, for those of us who are in this space, who care about human development, personal development, leadership, talent development, how do we navigate this in an AI-driven world? My first question when AI came onto the scene was, are we still going to have a company? Is World Blue still going to exist with AI? I mean, I myself go on to ChatGPT or Grok and say, hey, come up with this strategy for me or help me figure out this or that. But again, there are shortcomings. So World Blue, we're in this space. We've worked with top companies all over the world, GE Aviation, Pandora, Zappos, WD-40, 15.5, Groupon, Hulu. And what we've been doing, we've been very successful at building freedom-centered rather than fear-based companies. And by freedom-centered, what we mean are companies that operate on the principles of organizational democracy. And as I use the word democracy in this talk, I am not referring to a political party, obviously. I'm talking about a style of leadership that gives power to the people. Power to the people, because what we found is that that builds stronger, more resilient companies and companies that are more profitable and companies and organizations that do good in the world. So we've been at this for a number of years, and that's what's led me to really want to give this talk. And I appreciate you being with me. We've actually had quite a few people sign up for it that maybe can't join us live, but who want to experience the talk. So they'll be getting it. And it's really this question of sort of AI versus human leadership. Let's explore. I'm not claiming to be an expert on this. I am not living on the forefront of technology every day. But what I can claim I am an expert at, I think, at this point is leadership and how we train great leaders. So I want to bring that knowledge together for you today. So the first thing I want to explore is, in an AI-driven world, which we're in, what are the opportunities and challenges as we look through the lens of human development? You know, AI's impact has increased automation, data-driven decisions, and certainly efficiency. I know it's helped me with my efficiency. But the challenges, of course, are this rapid technological disruption that's happening. As we all know with Gallup, that 70% of employees are still disengaged globally in the workforce. And that leadership continues to be stretched thin by top-down command and control models that, quite frankly, are still old school and not able to adapt to this increasingly moment by moment decentralized and distributed leadership models that we have to run our organizations in today's world. So AI versus human leadership, AI, it excels at data processing, at pattern recognition, at repetitive tasks. But we humans, and I know this is up for debate because AI and robots and all that, but at this moment in time, humans, we are still uniquely capable of empathy. I was just in a conversation, empathy, compassion, right? Creativity, ethical judgment, and relationship building. So we need to be good at that part of the equation. The limits of AI leadership. AI is transforming workplaces, but human leadership is still, I believe, irreplaceable. AI is a tool. It is not a leader. Without human skills, your company or organization will risk falling behind. You cannot just rely on AI to do everything. AI cannot replace emotional intelligence and a democratic leadership style that is constantly looking out, navigating, saying, how am I bringing out the best in my people? How am I distributing decisions? How am I really giving power to my people so that we can unleash our fullest potential? AI is not able to do that. AI cannot replicate the human skills critical for leadership today. So AI's limitations. I think AI lacks this emotional intelligence that we're talking about. For example, navigating team conflict or inspiring trust, just inspiring people. I'm not going to get inspired going on ChatGPT. I get inspired hearing a leader's story of how they're overcoming adversity and driving towards a goal that's here to help better humankind, right? That's what inspires us. AI cannot innovate beyond programmed parameters. So it's not visionary strategy. I do a tip of the week every week, and I did one last week that said, leaders don't just rely on AI, artificial intelligence, they also rely on DI, divine intelligence. So being able to think bigger and beyond those programmed parameters. AI struggles with ethical dilemmas, right? Requiring a nuanced sense of judgment. The word wisdom comes to mind, right? With life experience, we get a greater sense of wisdom, hopefully. And AI fails to foster genuine connection or cultural alignment. That's what people want. They want to feel that human connection that you can only get from other humans. So, why does this matter? Employees crave purpose and belonging. AI can't deliver that. Customers demand authentic, value-driven brands, and AI can't create that. 85% of executives say human skills like adaptability and empathy are critical for future competitiveness. We still need those skills. So, this is a World Blue Certified Freedom Center company, WD-40. AI, I love the picture. AI can optimize, but only humans can inspire. Are you preparing your employees for this reality? So AI can optimize, but only humans can inspire. So how do you prepare your employees for this reality? Well, the AI leadership gap, let's just drill this in a little bit more. 64% of workers are likely to trust AI more than their manager for specific tasks. So that's kind of interesting, right? But 41% express discomfort when AI replaces human decision making, highlighting the need for human leadership to maintain trust and engagement. Probably, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, I went to a talk in Minnesota. I was speaking at a conference and sat in on one of the sessions. And it was a talk by a woman, I don't remember who, but she said that they were running experiments back then with AI, having people have an AI manager. And people said in many ways they like the AI manager better. But just like the statistic says, they don't want AI managers to replace human leaders. And that is why people still want that human connection and they still value the human ingenuity. And this matters because, like I said, AI excels in tasks like data analysis, but employees crave human leaders who inspire trust and can navigate complex decisions, skills a democratic leadership style uniquely fosters. I'm going to show you how in just a moment. Human skills are irreplaceable. 85% of executives say human skills like adaptability, empathy, and creativity are critical for future competitiveness. Yet only 31% of companies feel ready to integrate AI effectively due to skill gaps. So this is what's crazy is we want to bring in AI to help us out, but we also are recognizing we have human leadership skill gaps that are actually keeping us from bringing AI. So we still have to continue to increase those human skills, those leadership skills to actually be AI ready and stay AI ready as we go. So why does this matter? Like I said, AI can't replicate empathy or visionary strategy, but most companies lack the training to develop these skills that can directly address this gap. So AI tools excel in automation, like we've talked about, for example, scheduling, analytics, reporting, but struggle with tasks requiring emotional intelligence, ethical judgment, or creative problem solving, which are core to good management and leadership. For example, Harvard Business Review notes that human managers have a unique edge in reframing problems, a cognitive skill that AI simply cannot replicate. So, what are the 10 leadership qualities that AI just can't replace or replicate? These are the 10 that I think, and I will tell you, I asked AI this question as well, and this is what it told me. Empathy, inspirational vision, ethical decision making. AI is only as good as the programmers behind it and their ethics. Emotional intelligence, authentic relationship building, creative problem solving, cultural sensitivity, resilience and adaptability, intuitive judgment, that wisdom within, like I said, AI versus DI, divine intelligence, and 10, mentorship and development. AI, I'm not going to go to AI to mentor me. I'm just not. I'm not going to go to AI to give me a sense of vision as I'm thinking about inspiring my team or working with CEOs around the world. So these are leadership qualities that AI just can't replace or replicate. And for those leaders who do have these skills, these abilities, and these talents, you are irreplaceable. And it's going to be a huge help going forward. So how do we develop these? Well, the solution, I believe, is that a democratic, or what we say freedom-centered leadership style, is uniquely positioned to deliver these AI complementary skills. So it's all about how do we develop AI complementary skills. So what is democratic leadership? For those of you who are new to the World Blue space, we talk about it as being freedom-centered rather than fear-based. It's not top-down. It's about giving power to the people, to your people, to unleash potential. Democratic leadership empowers employees to lead, innovate, and adapt. It builds resistance, engagement, and AI readiness. And the reason why it works is that it aligns with the human needs for autonomy, freedom, self-management, purpose, and connection. It complements AI strengths by filling in those gaps. So now let's talk about the 10 democratic leadership skills your employees, I believe, must have to succeed in an AI-driven world and why it's so important. The first one is purpose and vision. Employees need to learn to articulate their purpose and vision as leaders, aligning their goals with organizational objectives to inspire themselves and others. AI cannot do that. Why it matters is that AI can automate tasks, but employees need personal purpose and vision statements to stay motivated and guide their teams through technological shifts. We need the skill of dialogue and listening, right? AI, sometimes it feels like AI is a really good listener, but not necessarily to your soul, right? Employees need to learn to engage in active listening and meaningful dialogue, seeking input from others and sharing their own ideas confidently. Why it matters in an AI world is that AI provides data but human dialogue is what drives innovation. Employees who speak and listen up can bridge AI insights with team needs. So it's having, again, that intuitive sense of listening, that deep sense of listening, and the ability to communicate very well. A third skill that I believe they need is accountability, personal accountability. Employees need to learn to take ownership of their responsibilities, set clear expectations for themselves, and hold others accountable and constructively. Excuse me. Why it matters in an AI world? Well, accountability ensures employees drive projects forward, adapting quickly and still delivering those results. Employees need to have, let's go back, transparency. They need to learn how to openly share information, admit mistakes, or what we like to call learning moments, and communicate honestly with colleagues and teams, building trust. Why it matters in an AI world? Well, transparency reduces fears about AI by ensuring employees communicate openly about its impact, fostering collaboration. We all know when there's openness and transparency, that's what builds trust, right? That's what that skill that builds tremendous sense of trust. The next skill I believe that we need in terms of democratic leadership skills to thrive in an AI world is employees need to learn to prioritize both their own growth and the success of their team, finding harmony between personal leadership and group goals. And there's a forever tension with that. And we've seen in the 30 years we've been doing this work, there's a forever tension with that, but it's very important in terms of personal leadership and group goals. Why it matters in an AI world? Well, AI can enhance individual productivity, but employees must also work together and collaborate to achieve team goals and success. So we still have to be able to work together, right? We still have to have those skills that allow us to succeed and climb the mountain together. All right, integrity. This is going to be such a hot one in an AI-driven world. Employees need to learn to act with honesty, to uphold ethical standards, and demonstrate moral courage, especially when making decisions that involve AI, automation, or data-driven outcomes. Oh man, I was just talking over the holiday weekend with my nephews who are in college, and so many ethical issues coming up for them in school and how they're doing their papers and not using AI or using AI. So it's using the tool, but it's also being able to sift through and discern and still be able to make those ethical decisions. And that's why it matters in an AI world. As AI reshapes the workplace, integrity ensures decisions are just, transparent, and still human-centered. Moral courage empowers employees to speak up, protect what's right, and build trust and lead in a tech-driven future. So we still need leaders who have that moral courage. It's going to be vitally important to be a person of character in an AI-driven world. Next, employees need to have a sense of fairness and dignity. They need to learn to continue, it's such a hot issue, to treat colleagues and teams with respect, dignity, and worth, ensuring no one feels overlooked or undervalued. And why it matters in an AI world? Well, fairness is critical as AI introduces potential biases. So leaders must be alert to this and lead in a way that makes sure everyone has an equal opportunity to excel and succeed. Decentralization. Employees need to learn to share decision-making power with peers and teams, reducing reliance on top-down directives and fostering agility. So the only way democracy works is not by keeping power to the top or power, in that centralized command and control model, but really distributing it to employees in a smart way. And we teach companies how to do that. And why it's so vital in an AI world is that decentralized decisions accelerate ideas and AI implementation, allowing employees to act quickly at all levels, something they must be equipped to do. So AI might be able to get us information, but we have to make sure our leaders are prepared to act on that information and are set up with the systems and processes within their companies that they can act and not have that tension of command and control hierarchy slowing them down from being agile. All right, employees need to have the democratic leadership skill of choice. They need to learn to make confident decisions with clear boundaries, taking initiative and encouraging innovation in their roles, despite the many numerous choices that we have day in and day out. And why it matters in an AI world is that choice empowers employees to feel a sense of self-determination rather than AI making all the decisions, removing a sense of choice. So sometimes it can be like, well, AI told me this, so therefore I have to do it. No, you have a choice. You have to think. You have to think clearly, strategically, long-term, short-term. So is it absolutely vital that employees have this skill? And the last democratic skill employees need to have is an ability to reflect. So reflection and evaluation. Employees need to learn to regularly self-reflect on their leadership practices and evaluate their impact, learning from experience to improve. This is how we get wisdom, which is a uniquely human quality. And why it matters in an AI world? Well, AI evolves fast, as we all know. We're trying to keep up, right? Employees who can self-reflect and adapt their leadership to stay ahead of the competition are the leaders and employees who will succeed. So it's leadership training, really, that drives AI success. Only 2% of organizations are fully prepared for large-scale AI adoption, but companies with comprehensive workforce training strategies see up to 40% productivity gains from AI integration. And like I said at the start of the talk, it's not just AI. You have to have those human skills that fill the gap that exists between AI and those of us who are in the leadership space. And those are the uniquely human skills. And we believe democratic, a uniquely democratic style, not an authoritarian style, not a command and control style of leadership, but a democratic style that's going to fill that gap. Without freedom-centered democratic leaders, AI initiatives fail. 70% of AI projects fail due to poor preparation. WorldBlue's practical, proven training ensures leaders are equipped to maximize AI's potential while still keeping your teams engaged, because you don't want to contribute to that lack of disengagement that's going on worldwide. So how do we develop these 10 key democratic leadership skills? Well, at WorldBlue, this is exactly what we do. We have a phenomenal program called our Freedom Centered Leader Program. We offer it at an individual level and at a collective level for companies. And those 10 skills I talked about, dialogue and listening, integrity, transparency, accountability, we have the way to teach employees these skills in a human way where they actually have to go out and practice them and live them. It's not e-learning where you check a box, but you actually get to go out and do it. We've been running this program for 10 years now, and 2 leaders in over 100 countries, and it's very, very successful. And for those of you who might be interested in learning more, you can certainly reach out to me and how you or your employees can become certified freedom-centered leaders or get access to the over 100 training modules that we offer in this skill development, this vital skill development that WorldBlue is uniquely positioned to help companies develop within their people to truly make the company AI ready with AI complementary skills. In fact, it works so well that we have found our approach really delivers bottom line results. And let me share with you some of those results. Companies that practice our freedom at work approach, this freedom-centered style of leadership, average 103% greater revenue growth compared to the S&P 500 at 15.36% revenue growth over a 3-year period. So this is almost a 700% greater revenue growth difference when companies work this way. And let me give you some examples. WD-40, a WorldBlue certified Freedom Center company. This is a picture from them. Their CEO Emeritus, Gary Ridge, says our sales quadrupled and our market cap increased from $250 million to over $3 billion with a freedom-centered democratic leadership style taught to their employees. Another great company we've worked with is called HCL Technologies, a huge multinational company out of India. And in our work with them, this democratic leadership style helped HCL Technologies achieve and save $260 million during an economic downturn, and no one was laid off. The company even grew 21% and stayed profitable. Another company we worked with is called DreamHost, based out in LA. And for them, we were able to help teach them these democratic leadership skills, and their freedom-centered leadership approach was able to take their spin-off company from 0 to $175 million sale in just 24 months. Another example, in just 1 year, we were able to help a company called Boost in New Zealand grow 64%, small company of 15 employees, from 1.4 million to over 2.3 million. And we helped them drop their voluntary turnover from 40% to 20% because of a democratic leadership style. So there is real urgency to act now to make sure that your employees have these skills. AI adoption is accelerating. According to Gartner, 80% of companies will be using AI by 2026. Talent wars are intensifying. Engaged, AI-ready teams win. And economic and global challenges demand resilient, adaptive workplace leaders and cultures. And of course, the consequences of inaction is loss of competitive edge due to AI-savvy competitors who are training their people in these skills, higher turnover and disengagement costs that come along with people just checking out because they can't keep up, and missed opportunities for innovation and growth. Thank you so much for listening. I want to open it up now for questions and also offer a free gift here. We have a wonderful ebook, really, of leadership and culture toolkit of 50 best practices in freedom at work and freedom-centered leadership. And here's my contact information. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn.